Hi there, my name is Agni Ghosh and I thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you're having a great day so far, and if you're not, I hope this video manages to bring a smile on your face. I am excited to be here today to talk to you about the project that I have been working on, and I'm eager to share my work with you because this one is close to my heart. For the best experience, I'd request you to watch this video in full screen mode. If you are someone who is interested in the data domain or like to solve problems, or maybe you're just a curious person by nature, this video is going to be interesting for you. Even if you're not one of those people, you've got nothing to lose. Stick around till the end and I'm sure it'll be worth it. So, what exactly is this project about? Yes, this project is about the analysis on the growth of Telangana. I've stayed most of my life in Telangana and it is a beautiful, beautiful state with a lot of potential. This project is a part of the submission for Code Basics Resume Project Challenge, which is open to everybody. It is a great initiative and we'll talk more about them later on. All of these beautiful shots are from Telangana. So let's begin. Okay, so we have got a search bar. Let's search for Telangana and see what interesting facts come up. Okay, so Telangana is a young state. In fact, it is the youngest state of this country. It was formed less than 10 years ago. It was formed on June 2nd, 2014. It has the potential for rapid economic growth in the coming years. Telangana is one of the fastest growing economies. The state's GDP grew at a rate of 11.5% in 2022 alone, which is higher than the national average, which is of 8.7%. Telangana is also a major industrial hub. The state is home to several large industries, including automobile, IT, and pharmaceutical sectors. One of the major IT hubs, we can say, in Telangana, in Hyderabad, is the high-tech city. Okay, moving on. Telangana is a major agricultural producer. In fact, it is the leading producer of cotton, turmeric, and chilies in India. Telangana is also a major tourist destination. The state is home to many historical and cultural attractions, such as the Golconda Fort and the Charminar. It is also a major political power and it is also a center for major education. In fact, many students from all over the country come to Telangana to study for various competitive examinations. Okay, so now let's move on and get an overview of the various sections that we'll be covering in this presentation. I have divided the presentation into 4 parts, which are objective, metadata, data modeling, and analysis. The analysis part includes various crucial insights and recommendations for the government of Telangana for sustained growth in the future. So let's dive right in. We'll begin with the objectives of this project. Let's see what they are one after the other. So the first objective is to explore the stamp registration, transportation, and Ts-Ipass datasets, understand their attributes, categories, and the time period. The second one is to analyze the trends and patterns within each department, identify growth opportunities and areas needing attention. And the third and the final one is to find correlations among these departments and report the overall growth of the state through insights and relevant visuals such as shape maps. So those were the objectives of this project. Now let's move on to the next section, which is the metadata. The metadata section contains information about the data that we are provided with for this analysis project. These are the 5 datasets that we are provided with, which are in CSV format, which is comma separated values. These datasets were originally obtained from the Open Data Telangana website. Let's get an overview of what each of these datasets contain. The first one is called DIMDate, which is actually the dimension table. The various columns that are contained in these datasets are month written in short form, the quarter, and the fiscal year of Telangana. The second one is DIM districts, which is also a dimension table. This one contains the district code of various districts and the name of the districts. The third one, which is named as fact stamps, these are actually the fact tables, and this one contains the district code, month, document registered count, document registered revenue, e-stamp challan count, and e-stamp challan revenue. And the fourth one contains the district code, month, sector, investment in crores, and the number of employees. And the last one, which is fact transport, this one is actually the biggest one of these 5 datasets, and this one contains many data points. It consists of the district code, month, vehicle sales, which is divided into 3 categories, which are the fuel type of the vehicles. The next one is also categorized as a vehicle class, which contains motor class, which are motorcycles, motor cars, auto rickshaws, agriculture, and others. Another classification is based on the seating capacity of the vehicles, which range from 1 to 3 or maybe 4 to 6 or more than 6. And the last one is based on the other categories, which is maybe the brand new vehicle or pre-owned vehicles, which are sold later. So that was about all the data sets that we have been given with. Coming to the research questions, these are the research questions that we have been given the responsibility to solve. We'll talk about them as we progress through the presentation. Let's put them aside for now. So that was all about the metadata section. We'll now move on to the next section, which is data modeling. The tool that I use for this project is Power BI alone. Will it have helped me if I had used Excel and SQL? Absolutely. But I deliberately chose to exclusively use Power BI as the primary tool and only tool for data extraction, transformation, and visualization because I wanted to challenge myself and commit to mastering this powerful data analytics and BI tool to tackle complex data challenges efficiently with a single platform and thus streamlining the process and optimizing the results. This is the data modeling that I have done to connect all the dimension and fact tables, which we saw earlier, with one-to-many relationships. And I have also included 2 more tables for Tourism Department of Telangana. These are some of the measures that I created to assist in the process of my analysis. There are a few more, but these are the most important ones. I have used several DAX functions such as calculate and conditionals to filter the required information such as data related to only one particular year and so on. That's all about behind the scenes technical part. Now let's move to the most exciting section and actually get the answers to all the research questions with the help of interesting visualizations. Let's dive into the analysis section now. The research questions are broadly divided into 3 parts, which are stamp registration, transportation, and Ts-Ipass. Let's see what those things are and how they are important to the state. With the stamp registration, let's see what stamp registration exactly is. So, the stamp registration and document registration are crucial processes in Telangana and also other states in India, which are designed to provide legal validity and authenticity to various transactions and agreements. It is the process of registering a document with the government by paying a stamp duty, which is a tax levied by the government on the transfer of property or on the execution of certain types of documents such as a lease agreement or mortgage deeds. So basically, if you need any kind of proof that you have registered from the government and some kind of a transaction is registered with the government, you need to do stamp registration. Moving on. So this is the beautiful outer ring road of Hyderabad. How is transportation important to a state? The transportation sector is essential for the economic development of any state. It allows business to transport goods and services, and it enables people to travel for work, education, and leisure. Telangana has seen significant growth in vehicle sales in recent years. The total number of vehicles sold in the state increased from 1.1 million in 2014 to 1.9 million in 2022, which is a growth rate of 73%. This growth has been driven by a number of factors, including rising incomes, increasing urbanization, and the increasing use of personal vehicles for the commuting and leisure activities. Let's now move to the final topic, which is Ts-Ipass. The Telangana government has enacted the Telangana State Industrial Project Approval and Self-Certification System, which is the acronym for Ts-Ipass Act, which was launched in 2014. For the speedy process of applications for issue of various clearances required for setting up of industries at a single point based on the self-certification provided by the entrepreneur and also to create investor-friendly environment in the state of Telangana. Okay, so we have got an idea about what the 3 topics are and how they are important to the state. Let's get on to answering the actual research questions now. Let's begin with the first topic, which is the stamp registration. So this is a dashboard that I have created for the stamp registration part. We can see all the details here for all the questions that we have for this section. I've also included various slices. If you need to slice these or filter all these visuals according to the fiscal year, month, or district, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's begin with the first question now. Okay, so the first question is, how does the revenue generated from document registration vary across districts in Telangana? List down the top 5 districts that have showed the highest document registration revenue growth between 2019 and 2022 fiscal year. Okay, so in this, we can see the right chart here, which is the total document revenue growth between the fiscal years 2019 and 2022. The district that tops it is Mulugu with a rate of 144.9, almost 145% of growth over the 3 years, and followed by Siddipet, Sangareddy, Medak, and Vikarabad. In the left chart here, we can see the overall the document revenue between the years 2019 and 2022. In this, Sangareddy actually tops the list. Now, the second question is, how does the revenue generated from document registration compare to the revenue generated from e-stamp challans across various districts? List down the top 5 districts where e-stamp's revenue contributes significantly more to the revenue than the documents in fiscal year 2022. Okay, so if we see the topmost chart, which is e-stamps versus document registration revenue, we can see that Rangareddy has the highest document registration revenue as well as e-stamp revenue, and also the difference between them is as high as 652 million, which is quite a big value of difference between document and e-stamps revenue. Now, following Rangareddy, there's Hyderabad, Khammam, Hanmakonda, and Yadadri Bhuvangiri. So if you see the charts on the right side, we can see the total revenue between the fiscal years 2019 and 22 distribution among all the districts. And the bottommost chart is a line graph of all this revenue. The third question is there any alteration of e-stamp challan count and document registration count pattern since the implementation of e-stamp challan? If so, what suggestions would you propose the government? As we can see from the topmost graph, we can see that there is a linear increase in the revenue from e-stamp challans as well as the count of e-stamp challans. The topmost chart is divided between the various years between 2019 and 2022. If we see the bottommost chart, it is the actual distribution over the various months between 2019 and 23. So in this chart, we can see that the blue colored line, which is actually the sum of total e-stamp challans count, has increased since its introduction. But we would expect that any kind of service which is online should have been increased by a lot more. But it is not the case here. So my suggestion would be to the government to provide some kind of education schemes for people so that they can be educated as to how e-stamp challan works and how they can do that online from the comfort of their home. The fourth question is categorize the districts into three segments based on their stamp registration revenue generation during the fiscal year 2021 and 22. So we can see that I have divided all the districts in three categories, which is if you see the right side of the dashboard here, you can see the distribution of the districts and each revenue category. The lighter color here shows high revenue. So the high revenue districts are from Rangareddy to Jagityal and followed by Vikarabad and others which fall under the medium revenue category, and there are others as well below this. So the lighter colored ones are actually the high revenue ones. So we can see that from the shape chart here that almost more than 50% of the districts have high revenue, and only a few of them fall under the medium revenue category as well as the low revenue category. So we are done with the stamp registration analysis now, and we'll be moving on to the transportation analysis. The fifth research question is investigate whether there is any kind of correlation between vehicle sales and specific months or seasons in different districts. Are there any months or seasons that consistently show higher or lower sales rate? And if yes, what could be the driving factors? As we saw in the earlier slide, which was actually the representation of the distribution of the sales type of vehicles, which is petrol and diesel fuel type over the years of 2019 to 2022. And in this one, we can see that the distribution of vehicles in the year 2019. We can clearly see that the October month stands out in both the sales of petrol vehicles and diesel vehicles as well. So we'll be moving on and seeing the distribution in 2020 as well in the next one. So in 2020 also, we can see that October month stands out, and it is the highest peak month for the sales of both petrol vehicles and diesel vehicles as well. Similar is the case for 2021 as well. We can see that October again tops it. So we can overall conclude that maybe October is the month where the sales of vehicles goes to their peak. So as we saw earlier, October month stands out in all of the years except for in 2022, which we will discuss now. The insights that we gain from all of these yearly sales of petrol and diesel vehicles is that there is an increase in the sales of both petrol as well as diesel vehicles in the month of October during 2019 to 2022. The increase in the sales of petrol vehicles ranges between 47% to 120%, and the diesel vehicles, the sales increases from the range of 38 to 86%. But in the year 2022 October, there is a decline in the sales of 17% and 29% respectively for petrol and diesel vehicles. Also, overall, we observe that there is a decline in the sales before and after October month, where the sales trend kind of stabilizes to some extent. And also, there was a fall of sales in both petrol and diesel vehicles in the month of April 2020. One of the major reasons for this is that the introduction of COVID restrictions and the lockdown. So, in the earlier slides, we saw the distribution of sales of petrol and diesel vehicles, but now we'll be moving on to electric and other types of vehicles as well. So, in this chart, we can see that electric vehicles have become popular over the years. Although there is no yearly pattern of EV sales, an increase in sales can be seen during the Q1 and Q3 every year. There was a fall in the sales of all vehicles as well. We have seen before that there was a fall in the month of April 2020. Before that, there was a stable trend of sales of both EV and other fuel type vehicles as well. Moving on to the sixth question, which is how does the distribution of vehicles vary by vehicle class, which are motorcycle, motor car, auto rickshaw, or agriculture type of vehicles across different districts? Are there any districts with a predominant preference for a specific vehicle class? Consider the fiscal year 2022 for the analysis. As we can see overall, if we don't consider 2022 overall, between the years 2019 and 2022, we can see this green colored column stands out in all of the districts, which is actually the vehicle class motorcycle. So we'll be moving on to the fiscal year 2022 only now. Now we'll be considering only the fiscal year 2022. As you can see, I have divided it into two parts. The first one being the top three districts, which is Hyderabad, Medchal, Malkajgiri, and Rangareddy. We can see that the green colored column, which is actually the vehicle class of motorcycle, tops all of them, followed by the blue colored column, which is vehicle class motor car. And then we can see there is the sales of auto rickshaw vehicles in these top three districts. If we move on to the following other districts in this ranking, we can see Rangareddy, Nizamabad, and other districts as well. We can see that the green colored column tops again. So the distribution of vehicle class motorcycles is actually the most in all of the districts, followed by vehicle class motor car. And we can see that the sales of agricultural vehicles in some of the districts such as Nalgonda and Suryapet, Siddipet, and Yadadri Bhuvangiri, and some others where they are majorly focusing on agricultural side of the economy. So there the sales of agricultural vehicles is more than the sales of auto rickshaws. Moving on, the seventh question is that list down the top three and bottom three districts that have shown the highest and lowest vehicle sales growth over the years 2022 compared to 2021. So they have asked us specifically to compare the categories of petrol, diesel, and electric only. So as you can see, I have divided this chart into three parts of petrol, diesel, and electric. So the top three districts that we can see that top the petrol sales growth over in the year 2022 over 2021 are Rangareddy, Hyderabad, and Medchal, Malkajgiri. Rangareddy has the highest growth of 8.7%, followed by Hyderabad of 1%, and Medchal, Malkajgiri actually shows the negative growth of 0.9%. And if we see the chart below it, we can see the bottom three districts for petrol, which are Jagityal, Nirmal, and Warangal. Warangal having the least amount of growth, which is actually on the negative side of 45.3%. So we can see the top and bottom districts of diesel as well. The top districts being Karimnagar, Sangareddy, and Rangareddy having the growth of 111.4%, 13.2%, and 12.7% respectively. And the bottom districts are Jangaon, Mahbubabad, and Warangal again. Warangal this time has a negative growth of 48%. Now, if we move on to the electric vehicles, the top three districts that show the highest sales growth are Khammam, Bhadadri Kottagudem, and Suryapet. Actually, we can see that there is a very high growth in electric sales, which is almost over 400%. Now, the bottom three districts which show the least amount of growth in electric vehicles are Mancherial, Rajana Sirsila, and Vanapati. But I have colored this in yellow and orange color because this is not actually on the negative side. This is positive growth itself, but these rank in the bottom three in the category of electric vehicles. But it is a positive growth itself. The Vanapati being on the least side of a growth of 5.5%. Now, we'll be moving on to the analysis of Ts-Ipass. The eighth research question is list down the top 5 sectors that have witnessed the most significant investments in the fiscal year 2022. So you can see that I've included 3 charts in this. The leftmost being the district-wise distribution for the fiscal year 2022. We can see that Rangareddy tops it again, followed by Sangareddy. If we move on to the right side of the chart, we can see the top 5 sectors with investments in crores for the fiscal year 2022. The top one, which gathered the most amount of investment, is plastic and rubber of 5.86 thousand crores, followed by pharmaceuticals and chemicals, real estate, solar and other renewable energies, and engineering. The same representation of these top 5 sectors I have also shown in the pie chart, which is on the bottom. So the next question is list down the top 3 districts that have attracted the most significant sector investments during the year 2019 to 2022. What factors could have led to the substantial investment in these particular districts? Okay, so if we consider the question, it is asking specifically about the most significant sector investment. In the previous slide, we saw that it was plastic and rubber, I think. So the top right chart that I have included is the top distribution of the top 3 districts in the plastic sector investment. Again, Rangareddy being the top of that, which having 4.99 thousand crores investment in the plastic sector alone, and followed by Sangareddy and Medcel Malkajgiri. And the same representation of this chart is shown in a pie chart representation in the bottom. If you see the leftmost chart, it is the actual distribution of overall all the sectors, including plastic and other sectors as well. In this also, Rangareddy tops it, followed by Sangareddy and Medcel Malkajgiri as well. So the 10th question is there any relationship between district investments, vehicle sales, and stamp revenue within the same district between the years 2021 and 2022? So we have been asked to compare 3 different variables, and for this, I think scatter plot is a great chart to compare 3 variables. It is nothing complicated here. Put in a simple way, the size of these bubbles you see shows the investment amount that each district has received. The bigger the bubble, it shows more the investment, and following that, it is a simple representation of x and y axis, on the x axis being e-stamps revenue on this chart, and vehicle sales on the y axis. So we can see that there is a positive correlation between all of these 3 things here. The green bubble that we see here is actually Rangareddy, which has all of the 3 variables in a high amount. The bigger the bubble, it shows higher the investment, and also the e-stamps revenue on the x axis, which is on the rightmost side of this chart, and also vehicle sales is also high in Sangareddy. Now the blue bubble is actually Medcel Malkajgiri, where we can see that vehicle sales is slightly higher than the e-stamps and Rangareddy district, but it has a significant amount of investment as well. Now one more bubble that stands out is this red one, which is actually Sangareddy district. It shows that it has a very high investment, more than actually Medcel Malkajgiri, but there is a less amount of e-stamps revenue. One more thing that we can notice is this little white dot, which is actually Hyderabad. So we can conclude that the size of this Hyderabad is not actually so big. So it shows that the investment in Hyderabad is not as substantial as in other districts like Rangareddy, Sangareddy, and Medcel. But the vehicle sales in Hyderabad is very high because it is the capital of the state, and many people commute there as well on a daily basis to go to and fro from work, and also for leisure activities. So we can say in conclusion that all of these 3 variables are kind of correlated in a positive way, but this is not an indication that one or the other is a causation for the other variables. Moving on to the 11th question, which is, are there any particular sectors that have shown substantial investment in multiple districts between fiscal year 2021 and 22? So if we get an overview of this cluster stacked column chart representation, we can see that the green colored part stands out in many districts. It is actually pharmaceuticals and chemicals sector, followed by this blue colored one, which is actually the plastic sector. This is a zoomed in representation of the same chart that we saw earlier. We can see that this green colored part shows much more investment in many districts, which is actually pharmaceuticals and chemicals, followed by the plastic sector, which is actually this dark blue colored one. In the earlier slides, we saw the distribution of various sectors among the various districts for the fiscal year 2021, and now we'll be seeing about the distribution in the fiscal year 2022. In this, we can again see that the dark blue colored one stands out, which is the plastic sector investment among all the districts, and also we can see that in Sangareddy there is a red colored bar, which is actually the automobile sector. We'll be looking at the zoomed in version in the next slide. So this is the zoomed in version of the earlier chart. We can see that the dark blue colored one stands out again in many districts, and followed by the green colored one, which is again pharmaceuticals and chemicals. So the topmost one is plastic sector, followed by pharmaceuticals and chemicals, and we can see this red colored one stands out in Rangareddy, Sangareddy, and in some other districts as well, which is actually the automobile sector. Moving on to the final question of the research is, can we identify any seasonal patterns or cyclicality in the investment trends for specific sectors? Do certain sectors experience higher investment during particular months? So to answer this question, I have come up with a ribbon chart, which helps us in showing and following any particular sector over the various months. We can see that this green colored chart bar shows a higher investment compared to others in the month of February, which was a one-time investment, which was very high, and this green colored one is actually real estate and IT buildings. And another one we can see during the months of June, July, and September, October, and other months as well is this light blue colored one, or cyan color if you will, which is actually the pharmaceutical sector. So the pharmaceutical sector actually receives kind of stable investment over various months throughout the year. And also we can see this yellow colored chart, which is yellow colored ribbon, which is in the month of April. Following that, we can go to June and other months as well, and in November it tops again, which is actually the solar sector. So we are done with the primary research questions, and we'll be moving on to the secondary research questions now. So the first question is, what are the top 5 districts to buy commercial properties in Telangana, and also justify your answer. We'll be looking at the answer of this question in the next slide. So we'll be getting the answer for the question now. So these are the 5 districts that I have shortlisted for the answer of this question. The factors that I have considered for this purpose is various government schemes and policies in these districts, and proximity to the state's capital, which is Hyderabad, and economic growth of these districts as well. So the first one is Rangareddy. So we saw earlier from all of the primary research questions that Rangareddy was consistently topping in many areas. So Rangareddy is one of the topmost recommendations that I would suggest. Rangareddy is situated on the outskirts of Hyderabad as well, which is the capital of the state. Rangareddy district features a cluster of industrial estate and IT parks, rendering it an attractive option for commercial property investment. The presence of the bustling Shamshabad International Airport further enhances its appeal. So the next one is Medchal Malkajgiri. The picture that you can see in this is actually the famous Qutub Shahi tombs. So Medchal is actually another suburban gem adjoining Hyderabad. Medchal Malkajgiri district boasts an array of IT parks and manufacturing facilities. Its robust connectivity via road and rail networks further augments its investment potential. So this is the state's capital, which is Hyderabad, which had to be on the list. It is the capital and also the largest city of Telangana. Hyderabad also holds a prominent position as an economic, financial, and cultural powerhouse within India. It boasts a diverse industrial ecosystem, including IT, manufacturing, and tourism sectors. Notably, Hyderabad's remarkable GDP growth rate of 15.6% in the year 2022 alone underscores its status as a thriving business hub. Now, followed by Warangal, which is also the second largest city in Telangana. Warangal plays a pivotal role as a commercial and industrial hub. Industries such as textiles, pharmaceuticals, and food processing flourish here, making it an attractive destination for investors. Finally, I have recommended Karimnagar as a district because it has significance in both agriculture and industry contributions to its attractiveness for commercial property investments. The presence of sugar mills, rice mills, and cotton mills underscores its economic vibrancy. Additionally, its strong transportation links to Hyderabad by road and rail make it a compelling choice. So those were the various districts that I have recommended. Moving on, the question is what significant policies or initiatives were put into effect to enhance economic growth, investments, and employment in Telangana by the current government? Can we quantify the impacts in these policies using available data? To answer this question, we'll be continuing on the following slides. We'll be looking at the Telangana's significant initiatives and policies now. So the first policy that came into effect was in 2014, which was Startup Telangana, which is a pioneering initiative fostering entrepreneurship and innovation. The program provides a spectrum of support services to startups, encompassing funding, mentorship, and access to co-working spaces. The next one is Ts-Ipass, as we saw earlier. It was also introduced in 2014, and it is a pivotal single-window clearance system for industrial projects. Its impact has been recognized for simplifying the approval and clearance process, expediting the establishment of businesses in Telangana. Another significant policy initiative is the Mission Kakatiya, which was launched in 2015, which is a comprehensive program dedicated to the restoration and rejuvenation of water bodies in the state. It has contributed to improved irrigation facilities, elevated groundwater levels, and increased agricultural productivity. Next initiative is Ts-Ipass, which is kind of similar to Ts-Ipass, and Ts-Ipass stands for Telangana State Building Permission Approval and Self-Certification System. This was introduced in 2015 and also mirrors the concept of Ts-Ipass but focuses on streamlining building permissions procedures. It has significantly reduced the time and bureaucracy associated with obtaining construction permits. Finally, Raitu Bandhu, which is also a great initiative which was introduced in 2018. This scheme was introduced offering direct cash transfers to farmers for purchasing agricultural inputs like seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. This initiative has garnered acclaim for diminishing farmers' reliance on loans and enhancing their financial stability. Now, we'll be looking at the impact of these great initiatives and policies which we saw. The first one being investments. The state witnessed an influx of over 20,000 crores, in fact, actually more than 25,000 crores in investments during the fiscal year 2022, and which is an impressive increase from 13,000 crores in the preceding year. The next one being GDP growth. Telangana's GDP growth expanded at a remarkable rate of 15.6% in the fiscal year 2022, marking the highest growth rate in India. And finally, the employment opportunities. Telangana facilitated the creation of more than 70,000 job opportunities in the fiscal year 2022, reflecting an upswing from 50,000 jobs generated in the previous year. So these were Telangana's most significant initiatives and also their impact on the government. The final question is to provide 5 insights and 5 recommendations to Telangana government for sustained growth in the next 5 years based on my analysis. Firstly, we'll look at the insights that we have gained through this analysis. The first insight is that Rangareddy, Sangareddy and Medchal Malkajgiri combined have attracted more than 66% of the total investment throughout the state. And actually Rangareddy has almost 43% of the total investment throughout the state. So we can see a concentration of the investment only in a few states. Next insight is that real estate, industrial parks and IT buildings have attracted the highest investments. Pharmaceuticals and chemicals have stable investments and thermal power plant has the lowest investment overall. The third one is that real estate, industrial parks and IT buildings have highest employment rate followed by pharmaceuticals and chemicals, and thermal power plant has the least amount of employment. So we can kind of see that there is a correlation between investment and employment opportunities across various sectors and throughout the districts. The fourth insight is that Hyderabad has the highest number of domestic and foreign visitors, followed by Rajanna Sircilla and Warangal. So I've pulled the tourism department datasets from Open Data Telangana, and based on the analysis that I've done over the years of 2016 to 2019, because after 2019 the COVID hit and all of the COVID restrictions were implemented and the visitors and tourism kind of took a hit. And we can see both in the domestic visitors and foreign visitors section as well, Hyderabad tops the list, followed by Rajanna Sircilla and Warangal. So here is the final insight, which is the fifth one, which is Jayashankar Bhupalpalli has recently established a sub-registrar office, SRO. So there's missing data. Narayanpet and Mulugu districts have were formed recently, so the RTO data, which is regarding the transportation data, has not yet been updated with the government database. So based on the insights that we have seen earlier, these are the recommendations that I provide to overcome any kind of obstacles that the government may have. The first one being, it is imperative to diversify investments across various districts in the state to ensure balanced regional development and mitigate the risk of over concentration in a few areas. To achieve this, policymakers and investors should consider implementing targeted incentives and infrastructure development initiatives in underrepresented districts, encouraging businesses to explore opportunities beyond the top performing districts only. The second recommendation is that diversifying investment across a range of sectors is crucial to foster a well-rounded economic landscape. Stakeholders should explore opportunities to bolster sectors with stable investments such as pharmaceuticals and chemicals, as we saw earlier, while also considering strategic incentives to encourage growth in sectors like thermal power plant, which actually ranks the bottom in the sector investment, and there were others as well, like wood and other industries. The third one is that to enhance employment perspectives across various sectors, a strategic approach would involve diversifying investments and encouraging the growth of industries with lower employment levels, such as thermal power plants and others, through targeted initiatives and workforce development programs. The fourth recommendation being that, considering Hyderabad's already robust tourism industry, it is recommended to continuously invest in infrastructure development, cultural preservation, and innovative tourism experiences in Hyderabad. But it is also advisable to implement destination marketing strategies to promote not only Hyderabad but also lesser explored regions. And the final recommendation is that to address the missing data for the recently established SRO in Jayashankar Bhupalpalli and the lack of updated RTO data for the newly formed Narayanpet and Mulugu districts, it is advisable to initiate a systematic data integration and synchronization process with the government database, ensuring accurate and up-to-date records across all relevant offices and districts. So we are done with the primary and secondary research as well. I would like to thank you for staying till the end of this presentation, and now I would like to thank some people in particular who are the main stakeholders in this project. So we'll be seeing the stakeholders now. I would like to thank the whole Code Basics team and the founder of Code Basics, who is Mr. Dhaval Patel, and the co-founder, Mr. Hemalan Vadivel, for introducing this great resume project challenges and also providing the data sets and keeping it open to all. And also from the government of Telangana, I would like to thank Honorable Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao and also the Honorable IT Minister of Telangana, Mr. K.T. Ramarao, for providing Open Data Telangana portal, which provides transparency to all and also helps in the growth of various businesses and economic growth of the state. I would like to thank you for watching this video fully, because a lot of work has gone through the whole analysis project and the presentation part as well. So I hope you have a great day ahead. I wish you all the best. And if you have any kind of questions or queries regarding this project or anything else as well regarding data, you can contact me on the email address shown in the screen now. Thank you.